will get to support their team in person as they head out down the tunnel. It's a fantastically compact arena here. The atmosphere, the players will be close to the crowd, especially on the two main stands on the longer sides of this ground. So it's a wonderful occasion in Prospect. Teko Motise is alongside me, a man, of course, who played his football in the latter days of his career in this part of the world when he was with Cape Town City. So we'll hear from Teko in a moment as we talk you through the lineups as well. I can tell you that a new broom sweeps clean. Kaizer Chiefs have run the changes as Atozwane takes charge. For Stelly as well, just the one change. It's been enforced by suspension of Juan Carlos Ortiz. That means Zeta Quinica comes in to replace him. Chiefs tormentor Julius Musiamedi is waiting for his first goal against Chiefs in Stelly's colours. He gets the start this afternoon. Changes on the bench as well. Soli Kunyedi, Devin Tite is all included amongst the subs for this one. Let's talk about the formation. Teko Modisa, how do you expect them to shape up?
Titi, I'm expecting Dupreez to play on the left like he did against Chipa, to have that midfield three with Adams, Jabbar, and Mtetwa, and to be able to support Musiamedi just behind him so that they can have enough support when they play those long balls.
Steve Barker, now officially the longest-serving coach with the club in the PSL. He sits on the bench. Of course, his tenure started in the lower divisions, but with the departure of Kaitano Tembo, he is now the longest serving. So that's what Chiefs have done. 5 changes in all. Significantly, Keegan Dolly starts as Njabulo Ngobo, the man who was the defender of the season 2 seasons ago. And Happy Mashiane is included as well in the back four. That also sees a change in the form of Njabulo Ngobo. Leonardo Castro joins Keegan Dolly and Kama Biliak as the CBD start together for the very first time this season, Teko Modisa.
And yet the fans will be hoping to get some results from the CBD up front. But the change there in the midfield with Khadebe and Blom coming in, Blom, coming from a right back position to come back in that midfield, and Mashiane as well, they'll be hoping for him to bring in those crosses whenever he's down the line.
There they are then, the ever faithful supporters of Amakosi. They have come out looking to push their side to at least as high as possible a position that would be second place as things stand. We pause for a moment of silence. Yes, we have a round of applause there. It's a timely time, opportune time to remind you that this pandemic is very much with us still. The numbers are rising again, so please continue to take extra care of yourself. With a further 4,631 new cases reported overnight. Our referee is Michael Museme, assisted by Karamokwena and Mweketsi Mulelekwa. So that is the men who will be in charge for this one, as we anticipate what should be a fabulous occasion. Let's hope that the players will also be inspired to shine in front of a crowd. A number of players, not just those of Stellies, who will be playing in front of a crowd in the DSTV for the very first time. Even on the Kaizer Chiefs side, there are a number of players who are playing in front of their supporters for the first time. It's going to be the home side that get us underway. Stellies in the colors of the Martis, the maroon shirts with white shorts and gold trim. Here's Ashley Dupree going on an early run, looking to make his presence felt immediately as Mentoli goes with him. Nice touch there from Castro. I think the fans have been waiting, the Chiefs fans have been waiting for this for a long time, to see Castro, Billiat and Dolly starting a game together, the famous CBD from Mamelodi Sundowns days. They've only been on the pitch together once before, and that was against Baroka. So it's the first time they've started together in Chiefs. Brandon Peterson is one of those who will be playing for the very first time in front of a crowd in the Chiefs jersey. So the same goes for Keegan Dolly, who of course missed the game last weekend against SuperSport United, and when the Chiefs had their fans in for the first time. How much of a difference, I know you've had the pleasure mostly of playing for teams that have drawn decent crowds. How much of a difference does it make to performance?
Look, especially when you're not in a good spirit, enough confidence, the fans bring that confidence into the club, and also there's positive pressure to perform well. And as we know, that there's a lot of Kaizer Chiefs that have never performed with the Kaizer Chiefs fans, so there's a lot of demand from them and a lot of good interplay to them.
Beautiful stuff there from Sabino Khadebe to bridge that one and let it run through to Keegan Dolly. The Stellies have one possession back. Yeah, just say there is positive pressure, but it can equally be negative pressure when the team is not doing well, or as a player you are not doing well, because the fans can get on your back, especially the Chiefs fans. They can be very unforgiving. Free kick goes against the Kaizer Chiefs here. Long ball forward here now. Is the big man with the first touch, Mr. Amedi, but loses out. And Javulo Blom is also becoming an attacking force in this Chiefs side. Comes down the right-hand side and does possess a very good cross on him.
And his versatility as well, it helps him to play in all different positions. And I think being put in there, it's because they want to make sure that when Van Hidden goes up, he has the pace to be able to defend better.
This is a match featuring the team in the sixth, the Kaizer Chiefs against, rather, Stellies against Chiefs who are in fourth. But Stellies can draw level on points with Kaizer Chiefs if they get a full haul of points here this afternoon. As for Chiefs, will be certainly looking up. But it doesn't matter what happens, they will not be able to go beyond they will stay in third place. They can't go higher than third place. They might well slip out of third place, slip down, but they will not go up because they are currently 4 points behind them. Royal AM, as we see Ngezana taken out by Judas Musiamedi. 5 times he has scored against Chiefs previously in his time with Maritzburg United. He was Chiefs' tormentor. He loved to play against the Kaizer Chiefs.
And of course, coming into today's game, he was smiling when I said that before the game. He knows that it's one of the games that he enjoys playing and enjoys scoring against Kaizer Chiefs. So he will be looking to get one at least for Stellies today.
Madam Sibi was telling me a most amusing story about how during a game, not even before the game or after the game, he's talking to him on the sideline, telling him, and then let me free. So he backs himself against this team. I think he wakes up extra early on a match day when he knows he's playing against Kaizer Chiefs. Probably goes for a 20K run.
And you do have players that have their own clubs, their own teams. Whenever they play against a certain team, they seem to perform better. And I think with Julius as well, it's the same thing. Whenever he sees Kaizer Chiefs on the fixture, he gets excited.
Which was that club for you, Tego Melissa?
It was Morocco Salas.
No wonder Swallows do not Morocco Swallows don't exist anymore. You contributed to their demise. Raman Patlele. Combining there at the back. It's a back four that will sometimes have the look of a back three with Blom bombing down the right-hand side and Mashiane, who's been included in the starting lineup. Making a rare appearance. Mashiane only his 5th of the season. The player comes out for a throw into Kaizer Chiefs on that far side.
What also you can recognize, and it's very clear from the Kaizer Chiefs point of view, that you can see the structure the way they're in. When they're in position of the ball, you can see that Athazwan is trying to put his footprint there to make sure that he has his own identity as to how he wants Kaizer Chiefs to play.
Well, the fans lot of Kaizer Chiefs fans have been calling for him to be given a chance to lead this side. And you've got to say that the few opportunities that he has had in charge of this Kaizer Chiefs side, he certainly has done well. 7 matches that he's been in charge of the side, and they've won 4 of those matches, drew 1 and lost 1.
And I'm sure that with the youngsters that they have at the club, maybe there is a hope now because you have coaches that believe in youngsters, Dylan Shepherd and Akazwan, so the youngsters might be given a chance. Hence, we see Khatebe back in the lineup.
Players that have all come through the hands of Fafazwani at the Disney Challenge level. There's one floated in here. There's a referee of spots and a foul in the box. And goes against Kaizer Chiefs. That's the free kick. Now, see what Steelers can do. They look to just quieten that very vocal Chiefs support. It's 5 league matches that the Chiefs have played under Arthur Zwane. They have won 4 of those and lost just 1. That's a decent improvement. It's a small sample. There are a lot of players in this Chiefs squad that he knows very well and who he put his faith in. The likes of Sabelo Khatebe, Happy Mashian, and of course, in the on top of his will drop to the bench for this one. All players that were back in Jabulo Blom out there, who was kicked on after a big season for him last season with both him and Kosini Pidon. That was a breakout season for both of them, but Jabulo Blom has kicked on from there. Right here to Ngezana, who's operating on the right side of that defense, and then back 3, if you like. Way by Raman Patlele. His experience will be key to in this game for Chiefs. Castro laying it off to Dolly. Not sure what that was from Dolly. Too much on it. 7 goals for Keegan Dolly in his debut season, making his first appearance in front of the Chiefs faithful. In case of emergency, call 10-111, and that's exactly what Kaizer Chiefs have done. There's on the bench. There's Tumsani Zuma as well. Meantime, super sub for Kaizer Chiefs under Ernst Middendorp. And you'll be delighted to see him back. Offers them just something going forward, and he's another player who can drift defenses at all at time. He's also got a knife for goal.
Yeah, he was one of the big reasons why Kaizer Chiefs performed better this season. Whenever he came on as a sub, he would create goal-scoring opportunities. I'm sure Lukovic was enjoying so much whenever he saw him coming on because he knew that opportunities were coming, and he became that key member of Kaizer Chiefs.
Julius Musiamedi closed down quickly by Raman Patlele. So the wins it again. It's going to come out for a throw for Chiefs. Such a great atmosphere here, and so good to see the fans in the stadium. 8,000 tickets made available for this game. That's makes up the 50% capacity of this stadium. Way there by Brandon Peterson, who's also made that jersey his own now. He's become the first choice keeper, and you've got to say, you can't argue with it. He's been brilliant for Chiefs. Deputizing is Bruce Wuma. Here is Castro wide to Dolly, the CBD combining there. Dolly with the outside of the boot. Wow, you see that kind of thing, we start thinking Luka Modric. The outside, the pass outside of the boot.
Yeah, I know he's special whenever he does that. But you can see here they want to go out as quickly as possible whenever they see space there. That's why they try to use Kigandoli on the right hand side. But I feel like he had a little bit of time and space. He could have brought the ball into his left foot and find somebody inside the box.
So Stevens goal. First choice now, taking over that jersey from Lee Langefeld, who's on the bench, the more experienced Lee Langefeld. See that Stevens is here as well now. 31 years old now. He celebrated his first birthday earlier this month on the 8th. Dolly's ball in, very dangerous one, whipped in the difficult one, and has come off a Chiefs player's head. I don't know if it was Mobo indeed.
And it's a very difficult ball to defend, especially from this side. You look at the sun. I'm so Sage Stevens is struggling with that, be able to judge the ball very well, to be able to come out. The Chiefs need to use that as an advantage for them because they still have a guard against, and with those set pieces that Keegan Dole can provide, I think it's a game that also Kaizer Chiefs might open up with a set piece.
Very tricky time of day to kick off a match here, 5 o'clock kickoff. And as the sun starts to dip, and it will be in the eyes of the keeper on the southern side here of the stadium. Try and play their way out the back here. Stellies is looking to do the double over Kaizer Chiefs. Stellenbosch FC. It'll be the first time either of these sides have done the double. This is now could be trouble here or crucial, but the flag was up anyway. But very nearly Judas Musiamedi getting his first sniff at that Kaizer Chiefs goal. Don't know how much bookmakers will give you for Judas Musiamedi scoring this afternoon. It's just, it seems an almost certainty given what he's done previously against Chiefs.
And I'm sure that with Patele and Gezana and Ngobo at the back, they are aware of Judas Musiamedi, always going to be lurking there in and around those boxes. And I think whenever the ball is on the sides, whenever they're not in ball position, they need to be aware, they need to look at him, they need to make sure that he is in front of them, because if it's not, Judas will punish them.
This is the 6th league fixture, or premiership fixture between these two sides. Both have won a piece, the other 3 have ended in draws, and interestingly, neither side has won a home game. So both wins have come away from home. The Chiefs win against Stellies. It's a big one. They've met as well in the cup, by the way.
Wasn't that big win that Nugovic scored the hat-trick?
Just double check as we see Ashley Dupree works it wide there. There is some space to work with there. They get the ball in. Oh, a miscued clearing head out. Gets away with it as Ngezana. Completely miscued that one, but he got away with it. And come again. Well, they'll grow with confidence, of course, with Stellies. The longer it stays this way, they can just keep Chiefs at bay, keep them quiet, keep their fans quiet.
Because also what helps them Stellies as well is that Kaizer Chiefs are not putting pressure on the counter pressing their defense, so therefore Stellies have that little bit of confidence in them. But Kaizer Chiefs is making sure that their midfielders, Stellies midfielders, don't get the ball. Jabbar, Adams, because they know the creativity that they have, they will be able to unleash Dupree on the side and Musiamedi as well.
Great memory, by the way, Tiko Madisa, that big win, that 4-0 win for Chiefs, was at this ground with a hat-trick from Samir Nurkovic. And the 4th goal came from Zanzu. We were talking about it a little earlier, about how they enjoyed playing together with Nurkovic. He did the damage that day. As Musiamedi is pickpocketed by Jabulo Blom. Excellent work done. It's a big cheer from the fans. Excellent work from Jabulo Blom. tracking back.
Njablo Blome, he'll give you the defensive is very sound. He'll come back and help the team defend. But I enjoyed watching him play in that midfield role where he's so calm on the ball and he makes right decisions in that midfield. And I think that's one thing that this season we haven't seen him do because he's playing on the right hand side of defense.
Versatility can sometimes be a curse for players. Then in the middle of the park by Sabelo Khatebe, you heard the coach in his pre-match interview after Zwane say they want to be able to hold on to a little bit the ball a little bit longer. Dolly. Again, you're making the play back in the path of Dolly. Get the last touch there. Yeah. It's going to be a throw-in of 4 Chiefs. Here's Sabelo Khatebe, 22-year-old, starting his first match of 4 Chiefs. This is his 6th appearance, but this is his first start. Since making his debut for Kaizer Chiefs. Another one of fine footballers that come out of the bar. Nice stuff here from Kama Billiard. Still holds on to it. Okay. Atebe again looks up now. Dolly makes himself available. Dolly to Blom. Good passage of play for Chiefs here. Comes to Atebe again and is got there throwing. Not funny areas from zone 2, smoking. Your old buddy was, of course, comes from there. Steve Lebelia. Chipa. Along with a host of great players that have come out of the bar.
Say the Chabalala as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a
China Masondo.
pity that there's no Valdez. China Masondo just never really got to make a name for himself. But if we still had a better team, as Dolly's ball is whipped in, we'll get back to that in a moment. I was attacking it on the near post there. Pathelis, but coach as well. Siamiri back helping out at the back. Looking beefy there's Judas Musiamiri. Again, trying the little flick on the near post was in Patlele. Again, they could get caught. Instead, it can break here. Instead, it breaks for Khatebe now. Patlele trying to pass of his own with the outside of the boot. Kamabiliat, the league's leader in terms of assists this season. Kamabiliat. He's got a few fans that have come out here looking to score a shirt and one for Dolly as well. Let's see if they win. Now, this is a great chance here. He's opened the score and it's gone through the keeper. Brandon Peterson with their first open sight on goal. It's Stellenbosch. They take the lead. What a run it was there as well. Different run it was. The flag, Peter offside trap, kept his cool and drilled it through the keeper. I think the keeper will be very disappointed with his efforts there. And Dino van Rooyen opens the scoring. It can be said against the run of play.
It is against the run of play. Kaizer Chiefs losing the throw in an attacking half, and Julius Musiamiri making himself available there. That pass from him. But also the run from Rowan, and the composure as well inside the box. But Peterson could have done a lot better there. But let's take away the credit from Van Rowan, that confidence as well, that calmness inside the box to make sure that he picks the spot.
Won't want to see that one too often there. Peterson, it goes straight through him. And listen, Dino van Rooyen won't care. He's got his second of the season. And Stellies in front of their home crowd and the DSTV Premiership for the first time have the lead. Wow, and that's a turn up on the books just as Chiefs have been camped on the other side there. Now they find themselves chasing the game.
And because he comes from a wing-back position, it's going to be very difficult for Kaizer Chiefs, especially from Mashiani's side, where he hasn't played so many games, for him to track back, because Van Rooyen was put there by it's a plan. You can see that it's very strategic, because Zitara is back as a right back, but then Van Rooyen with his pace, now they're going to be using him as a wing-back, so Mashiani there needs to be very careful on that side.
Showing all the attributes of the modern wing-back, the Dino Van Rooyen, that can also score goals. What a start then for the home side. And Chiefs have found themselves on the back foot yet again.
Kaizer Chiefs wants to play that high line, offside trap TT. They need to make sure that their line is straight. They need to communicate very well there at the back, because with speed, Dupree's, Van Rooyen, they're going to beat those offside traps, and they're going to concede so many goals. So when there's no need to them for play offside trap, they need to defend. They need to mark 1v1.
And now it's a little good patch here for Stellies. And they do have a habit of scoring any goals. They've got more goals in the opening 10 minutes of matches than any other side. They've got 5, but this one wasn't quite as early as that.
And let's see if they can manage the game very well against the Kaizer Chiefs. That will also try and get that equalizer. But for Stellies as well, it's important to not rush things, keep the ball, and wait again for your opportunity and be able to pounce.
How will Kaizer Chiefs respond to that? Because the one goal was enough to beat them last weekend against SuperSport United. In fact, Kaizer Chiefs have been quite, for all their struggles, they've been very miserly at the back. Since that heavy defeat on match day 3, got problems yet. Well, I don't know whether Brandon Peterson looking a little bit rattled. Very nearly cost the side a very careless pass there. They can counter here now with Chiefs and Castro and Billiard. Waiting in the middle is Mashiane. Billiard support coming from, driving at that one was Castro, but unable to make contact. Still Chiefs. Billiard. Alexander. They need a quick response here, Chiefs. It's a difficult pass, asking a lot of Jabulo Blom. And that promising little surge forward comes to nothing for Chiefs.
It was a promising attack from Kaizer Chiefs with Castro as well, getting behind there, but he didn't manage to touch the ball. But any touch there, you hit the target, you stand a chance of scoring a goal. But those are the chances the Kaizer Chiefs are creating whenever Cover's on the ball, whenever Castro's on the ball, whenever Kigendul is on the ball. When they attack with that speed, these are the chances that they may create today.
Free kick has gone the way of Chiefs. Castro. Blom was looking to pick out Billiard. 25th minute of the game, still a lot of football to be played. Stellies that will come away with it. Last time we met, of course, it was an Ashley to play goal in the 38th minute that won it. So again in that game, they scored in the first half. As Musiamedi could be in here. Oh! How big a miss could that prove to be? How big a miss could that prove to be? 2-0, changing the complexion of the game. Judas Musiamedi combining with Ashley Dupree. That close.
Judas again combining in that and being allowed as well to be able to have that touch. But you look at the build-up here from Stellies, knowing exactly what they're doing. Julius Musiamedi drifting on the side of the ball, but that pass from him, I think that should have been resulted into a goal. But that's a problem now for Kaizer Chiefs. That three-man defense, one is to make sure that Julius doesn't turn, Julius doesn't get the ball freely, so that then you don't have to worry about the defense piece.
He didn't really get the kind of contact he wanted there. Scuffed the shot a little bit, and as I said, in the greater scheme of things, how costly could that be as Peterson has to come out to tidy up? You need to go rush back to go because the ball's still in play. The Chiefs have it. Sabelo Khater. I said, well, they've got the tell you what, they've got a spring in their step now. Two Stellies are getting for their first to their 50-50 balls. Normal, looking for the ball over the top. Finds Keegan Dolly, Blom. Castro, the lone man in the box. Not a good ball at all from Jabulo Blom. Fazwani will hope to keep the side that his players can keep their cool and regroup and try and force their way back into this game. See the possession well in favor of Kaizer Chiefs. But most of the ball as they come forward again here. Castro. Oshiani one to his left, brings him in now. But he was offside according to the near side assistant. Oshiani.
Yeah, that delay of a pass, I'm not too sure whether it was an offside, but that delay of a pass from Castro, they're waiting for Mashiane to get just to edge a little bit so that he can play that ball. But you want to attack, you want to put members in those attacking positions. As we saw earlier on, the Kaizer Chiefs are leading in ball position, but they need to lead in ball position in Stellies' half because they lead in ball position on their own half. Hence, they're making so many mistakes. They're trying to pass to each other, and Kaizer Chiefs are trying to punish. Stellies are trying to punish from their mistakes.
That's the Kaizer Chiefs director of football, along with the technical director, Zeki and Kaizer Mudam Jr. there in conversation.
Who do you think they're talking about?
Well, I wonder. how much influence do they have on what's happening in the game? Are they going to be sending messages down to the pitch side? Well, you would hope not. You would hope that the job is left to the men on the bench.
Yeah.
Jabulo Blom lining up a long throw, looking for Castro in the box. A throw in for Kaizer Chiefs as we approach the half-hour mark. In all the games that these two sides have played with, the way they've been goals, there have always been goals in the first half. They've had a 0-0 scoreline just once in the previous 5 meetings between these two sides, and then all goes well. They've had a 2-2 as well, and that was with Chiefs as the home side. It came in the first meeting between the two sides last season, or the second meeting between the two sides. That's the stages of last season. Blom, bit of a blow to the head. All the way back then to the keeper by Tegos Naba. Centre back, still 20 years old. Just turned 20 years old in January this year.
He has a bright future. He's very, very comfortable on the ball. Whenever he gets the ball, whenever he has the space, he's able to attack with the ball. And I think, honestly, the last time I saw a centre back doing that was OJ.
I was about to say, he's got something about him that is in the mold of the great OJ Mabizela. Not the biggest player, not the tallest player for the centre back, but reads the game so well and has such a football brain. And I think that definitely you see that in Tekos in Klaba. If we can reach those heights of an OJ, then we are in for something special. Castro done well here to shake off his marker. Dolly looking for Castro again. Castro close down low, and Jabulo Blom whips one in. And there's a chance here for Stellies to break it. Dino van Rooyen leaves it for Tupria. Musiamedi waiting in the box. If they can pick him out away by Mpahlele. And Chiefs have regrouped. I think that's where the danger is going to come.
Of course, that's where the danger is. You know, those breaks where Stellenbosch will be looking to use their speed, and Julius will forever drift away from where the ball is so that he can punish you on the last ball. And I think it's going to be a job that Masiane and Blom on the sides, they're going to have a job to do in terms of defending those breaks, because Stellenbosch, whenever they break with so much speed.
It's Mohamed Dahuda that will look for the long bomb into the box. Corner. And that's the signal there. It took a while for the assistant to make the call, and Gezana seemed to have had the last touch. Another opportunity for Stellies. And I tell you, a stat that won't be encouraging for the Chiefs supporters, an ominous one, is the Chiefs never won a game under Stuart Baxter where the opposition scored first. They drew one and lost 6. That one had gone out. Bahad had gone behind before curling back in. So yeah, that does not make for happy reading. But of course, Stuart Baxter is not a preacher anymore here. So what can they do? I think I point out the fact that only Sundowns have conceded fewer goals than Kaizer Chiefs. So defensively, they have been sound, which doesn't come as a surprise to Modisa for a side coached by Stuart Baxter.
No, of course, you could see also the way he set up his side whenever he plays. You know, you from the eye, you think that he's playing 6 or 7 defenders, but because he doesn't want to concede too many goals, because he knows that he'll wait for that opportunity to be able to score. Because I remember when he was dominating, when he was posing Kaizer Chiefs when they were winning trophies, it was very difficult to score against Kaizer Chiefs. And they'll score you one with a set piece, Mashamaite, that the game was done.
Mashamaite over Tower.
All Morgan goals, he always had those special players for those set pieces. It was a very, very difficult situation altogether.
And ironically, that's probably why he incurred the wrath of the Chiefs as supporters, who felt he was just way too defensive. Chiefs fans wanted to see their team scoring goals and winning matches. Well, Mpahlele very nearly caught in possession here. Jabulo Blom, support from Keegan Dolly. Dolly keeps his run going. Blom. Hackett. Captain the Chiefs' MDC side, he gives it away. Fouled by Castro on Van Heerden. Over the back there of his man.
I'm looking at Coach Akazwani telling Paul Alexander when Khatebi has the ball, especially on the right hand side, he needs to come closer so that he can be one of the transition whenever you want to go on the different side. He can always be linked up. And I think with how he wants to play, it's going to take a little bit of a time for players to adjust to. But also you don't want to start off, on a defeat, because it's always easier, it's always nicer to acclimatize to a new system, to a new philosophy with a victory.
It gives you some breathing space as well. It takes the pressure, get up to the positive start. Well, whatever happens, this is already Stellies' best season. They've already reached a number of points they had last season and could be in here. The flag has stayed down. And a crucial touch there from Njabulo Mobole. Screams at the far side assistance, feels there was an offside.
These are the threats. That highline again, that highline that they're trying to play there, where Julius and Dupree, they're always going to break it because of, especially Dupree with his speed. He knows how to break the line, and they play those balls very early. He's quick off the mark. So I think Kaizer Chiefs, in terms of that highline, they need to be very careful. Play a highline when there's the man on the ball is being under pressure.
In comes the corner. Swinging away from goal here. This will be keeper's ball. Brandon Peterson wanted to pull one out quickly, looking for Kama Billiard and finding him. Good distribution. You see, that's from the Kaizer Chiefs. Good goalkeeping manual there. The distribution, they're taking it quickly, but that's not the right ball from young Hadebe. Hasn't quite come together for him. The frustration also for the coach. There's a new possibilities there. Sage Stevens has talked his way into the ref's book.
Yeah, because he's complaining about that ball that when they tried to play, they deflected on the player because there was no 5 yards or 10 yards. But there for Sage there to come out of that line to come in and get a yellow card, that is so unnecessary for him now, because now any aerial ball that he needs to go and commit, putting the team under pressure, second yellow, you're out.
Needless caution to get him booked for dissent. This is not the kind of thing that you really want to do so early in the game as well. Still a long way to go in this one.
There are coaches that will fine you for that, for getting a yellow card for decent, because now it's so unnecessary and it's going to catch up along the season. And it was never nice, even though you know that it wasn't for decent, but it was never nice to get fined for yellow card, because then you don't play freely as well.
So as we approach halftime, Steadies with the lead, which came very much against the run of plays. Chiefs, yet again, have been dominant in terms of possession. But it's the goals that matter most. And Steadies have got that. It's got a long way to go in the game yet, but they'll be the first team in this particular fixture to do the double if they get that right. And in the process, we'll get their first home win against the Chiefs. This one left for Sage. Comes through to Sage Stevens. What can Steadies do now? The second goal for Steadies would really put Chiefs under serious pressure and in serious trouble. Chiefs are still, of course, fighting for second spot, and there's not much room for error now. They're 4 points adrift of Royal AM. So they don't have much room for error. They need to start picking up points. And now also, of course, those 2 matches that were outstanding have been scheduled. The first of them is on the 27th, Freedom Day. They will face the Monco Golden Arrows away from home.
And that is a very tough fixture.
Well, the Arrows have already beaten them this season, not so long ago. So they really are coming up in a very tight situation here as they look to secure Champions League football again, having made it to all the way to the final in their very first appearance in the group stages of that competition. Of course, knows all about Champions League success.
The final 3, actually.
Yes, absolutely. We were all part of that Mamelodi Sundowns side that won the Champions League. I believe it's what is it, 6 years ago now? Yeah. Beautiful. It's nice.
I feel old now. I feel old now.
Absolutely. Here's that middle safety. Is it in the vault somewhere?
Unfortunately, I don't have a vault, but it is
So
safe.
he says.
It is safe with other important medals that are won. Yeah, I think if I had to pick one, I think that's the most important one.
Absolutely, without a doubt. It's the hardest of a lot to win, bar none. I would actually go as far as saying, as we have a look at this throw in first, the chance here, but picked up by Peterson. Wants to pull one out again, looks for the run of Kama Billiard. He sets off as soon as the keeper has the ball in hand. He sets off on a run. So you see areas there. It's been mostly played in Stelli's half of the field, but listen, they have played it, they've boxed clever, have Stelli's.
Because they know that if you have to go pound to pound with the Kaizer Chiefs players' quality, you want to win the game. So you need to, when you're not in ball position, you need to shift around, protect the spaces that Kaizer Chiefs are trying to use. And when you do have it and then identify those spaces where you can use your speed, that's when Van Rooyen now comes to play and Dupree as well. And also to shift a deep lying block like Stadies is doing, you need to rotate the ball quickly. The ball needs to move faster. Nobody needs to run with the ball. You need to shift them, and whenever you play a ball through the midfield, it's 1v1.
That's exactly what they're having to do. Some call it parking the bus. Perfectly legitimate tactic in football. If there's a bus that's been parked, move the damn thing. Peterson under pressure from the pacey Dupree. Nicely chested down there by Castro. Billiard. Now they won't mind that terribly, Stellies, that they can force Chiefs to have shots from that type of range. They won't have a problem with that.
And yes, with Kama here, he's from the left hand side. I think that's where his strongest side is. Try to come in there and have a shot on target there, but he missed the target. But as for Kaizer Chiefs, when you do playing against such a structure, Titi, you need to be patient. You need to create this opportunity. Don't rush things. Move the ball around, and once you move the ball around, you'll be able to identify those spaces. The Kaizer Chiefs are being patient, but once they get into areas that matters the most, then they try to play quicker. They lose the ball. They restart again.
As we approach half time, if you start at home to make a happy reading or happy hearing for the Chiefs supporters. Chiefs, whenever they have gone into a game trailing at half time, they've lost every single time this season. It's 5 times they've gone into the break trailing, and they've lost every single one of those matches.
That's not a step that they want to get. I wouldn't be happy about that. But I think with the new, like you said, the new broom sweeps better. I think with the new messaging in the dressing room, the new voice, this might be, a different occasion for them to change things around.
Interesting. For the first time, really seeing the Chiefs putting on the press there high up. Something that you were pointing out that they were not doing enough of. And that, with a team that are defending as deep as Stellies are, that will suit them perfectly.
Exactly, because also you are able to break them down when you're in possession of the ball. So when they win the ball, counter press them, win it right there when they're not organized, and play from there and be able to score goals.
Throwing yet one Jabulopram on the near side of the Chiefs. Castro preferred to Norkovic up front. And one of 5 changes made by Arthur Zwane. Wonder what you think what does Castro give Chiefs that Norkovic doesn't at the moment?
What Castro does is he's very central, and any ball that comes aerially, he's able to control and engage with oncoming midfielders. But what Nukovic does is he plays over the shoulder. So even if you play this long ball, you think that just behind the defender, he's able to run because he's got a little bit more speed than Castro as well.
There is the Serbian sniper. He's lost his sight somewhat in sometimes injuries have disrupted his progress as well. He may well be an option in the second half if Chiefs want to do things differently. Only a minute, 1 minute is the word from the fourth official. Minimum of 1 minute to be played.
And also Nukovic, he'll give them that counter press because he presses those defense. The way they play now, with Nukovic there, he'll be able to press them and force them to make mistakes.
pressure there. Good work, good recovery from Hadebe. Very stuff there from Raman Pasele playing the deep ball straight back to the keeper with him standing in the middle of his goals. That's, I think one of the things you're taught is that if you're going to play the pass back to your keeper, make sure it's to the sides, not when the guy's standing in the middle of his goals.
And you play him in a way that if he wants to clear the ball first time, he's able to do that.
Well, there you go then. It's all positive for the home side. Steadies enjoying a beautiful day in the sun for the first time in front of their home fans in the Premiership. They have the lead, but it's not this man that has given them that lead. It's Dino van Rooyen, who's helped himself to his second of the season, and he has put the Chiefs in the spot of bother. Yeah, they now do a bit more head scratching. How do they get back into this game? They've got 45 minutes in which to try and do so. But at halftime, it is the home side, Stellenbosch FC, that lead Kaizer Chiefs by 1-0.